Hi, this is Brett, and today we're doing the Tensegrity Series. I'm going to break it up into beginners level, level 1, and then intermediate level, level 2, and more advanced full series, level 3. And with each of these videos that I'm doing, I'm going to try to do 3 levels. So, and generally the level 1 will be when I'm wearing white or blue, level 2 wearing red, and level 3 wearing black or grey. This series was developed by someone called Gioia Irwin, and I'm extremely grateful to her for all the work and time and dedication she put into this particular series. This series of exercises was developed as a preparation for yoga and can be used on its own. One important thing to remember is that it's not about trying to get somewhere. So in other words, don't be too rigid. You want to try and experience ease in your body. It's about noticing and being with ease, not pushing and forcing. The more you try to go further, the less effective this will be. So it really is a case of less is more. And particularly those who've done yoga for many years, this is probably going to be quite challenging because it's not a familiar experience for a lot of yogis to work with this sense of ease in the body. We're more familiar with pushing into postures. So you'll find that it brings great benefit to the experience of ease to work this way. What you'll need for this series of exercises is a couple of dowel rods, a shorter one and a longer one. The short one is approximately 40 centimeters, and the longer one is approximately 55 centimeters. And then a wooden block, rectangular shape, like this. If you don't have a wooden block, you can use a hard-covered book, something like that. And if you are using a wooden block, then just put it underneath a blanket. The other thing that's very nice to be able to use with this series is something called the Gioia toes, which are these silicone toe separators, which you can find on gioiatoes.com, Joya toes.com, and they help just to bring more intelligence and life to the feet and to the individual toe lines, so that your toes become a little bit like a hand. You can develop a knuckle in them. If you've done this series with me before, then obviously skip through all this first bit and you can just go straight to the exercises. But if you've never done this, then really pay attention to my instruction about not locking and keeping the weight in various parts of the body. So let's begin. You can take your wooden block, place it underneath the blanket, and then lie back with the legs up in the air, big toes together, heels slightly apart. And as much as possible, you want the inner knees close together, so not drifting apart. Bend your knees as much as you need to. If you're a bit tighter in the hamstrings, it's perfectly fine to have the knees more bent. And then moving just ever so slightly, arms and legs in opposite directions. So you'll notice that I'm not going very far with my legs. You want the back of the body to remain quiet, to have a sense of spreading and elongating, so there's no kinks in the back of the body. The pelvis is resting on the block, the ribs are resting down into the floor, the head is resting down, and as you take the arms back, the elbows gather slightly toward each other, As you bring them forward, the elbows move apart. The breath is just quiet, moving in its own natural rhythm. Bend both knees, hands onto the knees, rotating the knees so that you're creating some movement in the hips. Then change direction of your circles, rotating. Place the feet onto the floor, lift up the hips, and slide the block out from underneath the pelvis. Take your short pole behind your knees, long pole between the hands, and making a little twist, taking the knees side to side, and the arms side to side. The pole is held between the palms of the hands. And in a sense, your knees are drawing a figure of 8. So a little circle on each side, and the arms and legs moving in opposite directions. Let your head turn with your legs if possible, so that you have a sense of the head just being attached to the spine, and it's rotating as the spine rotates. Have a sense of the navel moving from side to side. And then come back to center. Place the poles down. Hands behind the head. Lift up one leg and extend the left leg down. Point the toes down, the foot down, but lift the toes up. Bring the foot back. Flex the toes. Foot down, lift the toes. Foot back, flex. You'll notice my knee is not completely locked. One more time. Foot down, toes lifting. Foot back, toes flexing. Other side. Point the foot down, lift the toes up. Foot back, toes flex. Foot down, toes lifting. Foot back, toes flex. One more time. Foot down, toes lifting. Foot back, toes flexing. Then rest your head down. Fingers this time go underneath the ribs. We're going to do some leg swings. So we'll take the right leg up and down, left foot on the floor, and just moving with ease, keeping the pelvis, ribs and head heavy. Eyes can be open for 2 swings and closed for 2 swings. You'll notice my knee is not completely locked, so have a little bit of ease in the knee. Then switching sides, place the right foot down, swing the left leg up and down, eyes open for 2 swings, and closed for 2 swings. And then turning onto your left side, support your head with your left hand, bend your right knee behind you, and we're going to lift the lower leg, in this case the left leg, diagonally toward the opposite shoulder. So to do that you need to move the ribs back slightly and move the leg up in a diagonal direction As you lift the leg, the arm moves in front of your face. Eyes can look up and slightly to the left. Bend both knees. Rest your head down, hands onto your pelvis, and lift just the top knee up and down. Rest the lower leg, lift the top leg, thigh turned outwards. And again, you'll notice that the knee is not locked. Watch particularly as you lower the leg, because the knee wants to lock. So you're keeping the knee soft, and this is more about freeing up the hip. So allow the hip to release. Bend your right knee, rest your head down. If you're able to hold your foot, then do that. Otherwise, you could use a belt. Stretch out your front thigh, heel toward the outside of the buttock. Take a small breath into the tummy. Straighten both legs down. Rest your head down, right arm up into the air. Drawing a circle in the air with the right arm, so it's like you're rotating that arm in the shoulder socket, a bit like a pestle and mortar. Change direction of your circles. Nice. Turn onto the other side. So this time bend your left knee. You're going to lift the lower leg, the right leg, diagonally opposite toward the shoulder. Let the breath just be quiet. Bend both knees, left hand onto your pelvis, lifting just the top knee up and down. So trying not to move the pelvis if you can. This is about just isolating the movement to the leg. Lifting the top leg. Then hold your left foot, lengthening out the left thigh. If you're not able to hold your foot, use a belt. Take the tailbone slightly forward and take a small breath into the tummy. Straighten out both legs, feet together. Knees slightly apart, left arm up in the air, and making circles in the air with that left arm, rotating the arm in the shoulder socket. Change direction of your circles. Come back onto your back now. Hands behind the head. Making a few roll-ups. So you're rolling up the tailbone, rolling up the head. Take both legs up into the air. And then let the legs bring you up to sitting. And in the sitting position, bring the knees close in, release the head, take a small breath. As you exhale, lean back a little and just find your balanced place there and hold that position for a moment. Come back. Inhale with the knees in. Exhale, leaning back a little, lifting the legs. And come back onto your hands and knees. Move the buttocks toward the heels. Come forward. Bring the pelvis forward. Buttocks toward the heels, release the head. Come forward, and bring the pelvis forward. One more time, buttocks toward the heels. Come forward. Sit back toward your heels. Rest the forehead down. So if this series of exercises felt challenging for you, then I would recommend sticking with this beginner series for a few months and possibly even a year or two before you progress to the next level. Because with each level we're going to do a little more and it's going to be a little bit longer. So, thank you.